Hey, we live? We live? Oh, no, we're not live. Hey, I hope everybody is enjoying the great Thanksgiving weekend. We are as well. So from Brent, Minnie, Chris, Big D, and myself, enjoy the best of series that we have prepared for you. See you next week, live at noon on Festool Friday, Festool Live.
Lost in the catalog, okay? Over the years, people would come up to me and go, hey, what's this? Hey, what's this? When are you coming out with this? Hey, what's this? All right, and this is the first episode of Lost in the Catalog because I am going to cover some of those accessories that go unnoticed in our catalog online, whether here in the States or in Canada or also around the world. And hopefully, if I'm doing my job okay, I'll explain them properly. This is the FS Rapid Clamp. I think maybe in track saws I did. And when we first look at this, you got a big old trigger here on the handle, and as I pull it, this goes out. You're going to notice it's not a square face. It's actually got an arced face. And here's what we call the stop. This is the handle. This is the stop. And it's the FS Rapid Clamp. And I'm sure Garrett's in the other room there telling you what the part number is. But here's the release. Okay? And when I first saw this, I went, that reminds me of those quick clamps I've always had. You know, you get them at any home center, whatever, any store. The way you put this on, you have this T-nut. And it goes into the track like this. Okay? Just like this. And I always, if there's a hesitation, I just lift it up and I push it in. And then I lock it back. The next part is the stop. And I'm going to call it out again. It's got an arc to it. So if you've ever used those other clamps, they got a 90-degree flat face. Here, because of the way we arc this, you can lock off a taper. It doesn't have to lock off at 90. You can actually use this to do what? Do some doors. Do it while the doors are still hanging. But once again, I push it on, and there you go, and lock it in. Sometimes this goes on a little too tight, sometimes a little too loose. I see people taking this and turning it, and this is sticking forward of here. Basically what I've created, look, is a big quick clamp. The release tab is right here. But I had somebody in Canada once say, I love this. This would be a perfect solution if the handle didn't come all the way down. Well, check it out. I could take this and rotate the handle. So that solved the problem already, and guess what? It still works. And there's your release. That if you need adjustment in the tension of a lever or a knob, it can be as easy as taking a posi drive screwdriver once again. Make sure it's a Festool screwdriver, posi drive. And when I put that on here like this, okay, I'm just going to go like this because that's where it's tight. Okay, I'm just going to loosen it like this. And once again, if I want more tension or less tension, I can take that right off. And you see how that's like a cog design? I can take that and move it back if need be. Or forward if I need more tension or less tension. And I think that's about perfect for me. I'm going to take that, readjust it, and I can still slip it on and off the rail real easy like this. And you see, and then now I got plenty of tension. So if you're getting kind of a little frustrated sometimes, always make sure you adjust that first. But say you need to do tapers on doors. I have this one already set up. I'll loosen it to show you right here. Okay, and say I gotta do a mark right here. Let's get it a little bolder, okay? And say you can actually put this right on the door, all right? But say you got to cut a taper to match what? To make sure it looks level with your threshold or your floor. You want to do a taper, you can put that right on the door. Do your line up like this with your track. See that? Look, right here. And it still holds. Now, you can use the regular Festool clamps, but you can't really do that when you're doing the door while it's still hanging. And I wanted to point that out to you now. You just set it up, and I'm going to show you right now. This is... Okay, so I am kind of showing off because this is the blade that comes with the new TSC 55 KEB. And I'm going to tell you, man, I wish this camera had field of vision. That's one of the smoothest cuts. And it is effortless. I was talking to somebody this week, and they were freaking out. They switched from their regular TS55 to their TS55 KEB, their cordless, and they were blown away ripping walnut with it. And that was, I believe, 6/4. I know this is a short run of chair, okay? But I'm just going to put on my laser here. Let me put on my laser. Right here. Okay, so I got my straight line laser there, and I want to put this up here. Okay, just like this. And what's the problem always when you're doing something like this? Look, you're trying to balance it like this and trying to hold it. And if it's a really long run, this thing wants to come down on you. It would be nice if we had somebody to hold that other end for us. Okay, so this is called, I think we call this the wings.
Yep.
Okay, and the way to adjust it, I'm just going to bring it over here, Chris, so we can adjust it. Okay. You have these, as I call, tabs like this, and you adjust it to the thickness of your material. So I usually take it over here and go just like this. I'm pretty much ready to rock and roll. All right. Okay. This is how you take it on and off the wall. There's a little arrow there, but don't try to take it off like this. You can actually go like that in the front. That's why we have those arrows up and down. So the nice thing about this is now I don't have to go if I'm a pro and I need someone and I'm by myself in a job site, I don't have to go ask the plumber or the electrician to go hold this for me. I don't have to find somebody else from another trade. I can do it all by myself because, of course, I already have a Festool dust extractor that goes in here like this. Okay, this is the beauty of Bluetooth. Check it out. All right, I could take this like this, bring it right in. That holds it there. Well, I come to this end, look. I could take this. I could tack this in now, right? Just like this. Come over, I can do my adjustment, look. And then I can take this right off and get the rest of it. Is that simple? These are called CT wings. It goes unnoticed so many times, and everybody will pull me aside and go, what the heck are these? Now, I'll take it a step further. Chris, come on in here. See how this gets awkward? And someone said this gets awkward when I'm doing maybe, and I know this is kind of a exaggeration, but say I'm doing a light bar on the bottom of a long run of upper cabinets. All right, I could take this, and I'm just going to pretend this is my light bar like this, but I'm going to take it a step further. I'm going to take the right angle off. I'll take it like this, and I can take this, and that can hold it right up here like this as I come to the end of the run, and I can tack this in, tack this in, tack this in, take that off, and work it. So it works in the vertical position. You have the right angle. It just makes it so much easier on the job site. And yes, it's basically having a third hand on the job site. So there you go. I wanted to point that out to you. Put a little more light on it, and if you come in here, there's a slight hazing to this. Okay, now, you may have headlamps, and I'm going to take this and make it look like this, crystal clear. Okay, in just a few steps with the Festool polishing system. So what you have to do first is we're going to use the Rotex. I put on the Rotex right here. I put on the backing pad. It's a little bit smaller than the polishing pad I'm going to use today, but I'm also going to use this for my applicator. And I'll explain that as I go. But what I have to do first is I have to analyze the lens. And when I do that, I come over here, and the first thing I did this morning when Minnie pulled underneath the tent is I taped it off. I don't want to degrade her finish here. Okay? The other thing I want to do is as I tape it, I want to make sure that I tuck it in the recess all the way around. Okay? Because I've actually bumped up against, and I'd have to polish this area. The other thing I do is I know this is not extremely technical, but you have to analyze the lens to see where you need to start. Okay, and what I'm talking about is I'm looking in here and there's not a lot of deep scratches. There's sometimes these lenses are really yellowy. So first thing you do is you got to clean them. I usually use Windex. I clean it off. And then as I analyze it, I take my my fingernail or my thumbnail and I go across the top to see and just feel, even with my fingertips, you can usually feel those deep scratches. So you have to choose, where do I start, what grit? Now I know today I'm going to use our silicone carbide platine. Okay, it's a foam back, right? And this is silicone carbide, and hopefully you can see the spongy vision there. And I'm going to put it on here first. And as I sand, if I take too long sanding, you see, that's the beauty of that backing pad. See how it wraps up around? So as I go, I can follow those contours really nice and not bump up to adjacent surface with the pad. So as I do this, I'm going to analyze the scratch pattern. If it's taking too long, I can always jump down to like a 400 granat. Follow me? So it's a time value. Like I've always said before, grits are a time value. So the next thing I'm going to do, and I think today's a perfect day because we got a little bit of a mist on here. If you're doing this in the sunlight, I always suggest very lightly get a little water on there. And I mean very lightly. Okay, and I'll start. I put it in Rotex mode. Okay, because I want that spin on there. And as I do this, you'll see how it starts to haze. Okay? Just like this. And I'm going to come around and very, very carefully do the whole thing. Okay? And you don't have to go overboard, because what you're doing is you're basically two things. You're cleaning some of that yellow off. Okay? And what you're doing is you're going to create a haze here. And then I'm going to come up top here and be very careful and get that top part of the lens. Because that's where the majority of it was, right in there. And I'm going to stop. I'm just going to hang this up. And always, always, always have your rags and clean off. So I'm just going to take it like this. Okay, and you're going to see it's a nice haze in there, and I'm going to come back in here, and I've eliminated those deeper scratches with that 500 grit. So now it's a progression. Okay, I'm going to jump up, and sometimes I'll go 1,000, then 2,000, but I'm going to go 2,000 right now. Platine. I'm just going to take that, set it over here. I'm going to put that on, just like this. Chris, you staying warm? Boy, I'm so glad I put on my outside gear for this. And I'm just going to take it and start right here. I'll start up on this point. I'll come in here. And this one doesn't take as long as that last one, because you're just eliminating. Oh yeah, this is going to come out nice, Minnie. I told the guys that I would slow down a little as I did this, because you can knock this out so quick. That's all it takes. I'm just going to set this here. I'm going to take it, and I'm going to wash it off, because I'm removing that grit. Now, I'm going to be jumping up. Oh, yeah, look at that. You can see it. You can definitely see this. Wait till we hit it with that MPA. Look at that. I know, man. So, I don't want to say it's easy to go purchase a new headlamp, but it is. But do that. Hey, Minnie, go over there and get that. But it's buku bucks for a whole new headlamp and lens, right? So just a few pieces of platine, your Rotex R90, you probably already have one, and machine polishing agent. You can take care of this so quickly. It's ridiculous, and you'll save a ton of money. So I'll take the 2,000 off, and I'm gonna jump up to the platine. You're gonna see how it's a nice, even haze here. Okay, so I'm just gonna take that. I'll put my 4,000 on there, platine. I'll hit it really quick, and then I'll take it up a notch. But, oh, I'm so sorry. Did I say I had it in Rotex mode? Yep. Okay, good. I want that spin on there. I want to do it quick. Minnie, we got a lot of people online today.
I think so.
But you can see that 4,000 is bringing it up really nice. And this sometimes I've gone up to the blue polish, but I don't think we're going to need it today. I think we just need the speed cut 5,000 on there. So a lot of people will ask us about our polishes. I cannot say this enough. It's liquid sandpaper. So it's easy. It's color coded. But you see this is MPA 5,000 or 5,010 grit. So that's a really fine grit. In other words, I went to 4,000, now I'm going to 5,000. Keep it easy like that. Now, the other thing on here is, and I've said this before, orange sponge, orange polish. Okay, you're going to do a blue, which is 9,000, blue to blue sponge. It's all color coded. White is 11,000, and guess what? 11,000 polish, white pad. But there's something else I wanted to point out, and I showed you earlier. I've always used with speed cut, and then we call it speed cut. That little icon right there, that's the backing pad. I mean the sheepskin bonnet that I like to use as an applicator. Now the other thing that's really nice about Festool machine polishing agents, MPAs, is they're water-based. Cleanup is effortless, but it's also good for you, good for the environment. They're not petroleum-based, which a lot of machine polishing agents are out there. And the other thing too, they smell good.
Yay!
Some of them are like watermelon. Some of them are apple scented. I just love it. Almost want to. Oops. Okay, everybody. Here we go. I'm going to put my bonnet on, or my applicator, just like this. I'm going to spritz just a little, like this. Don't have to, but I do. Okay? And here is the cool thing. Look. You don't have to do a lot. Okay, now what I like to do is I don't want a lot of material whip, so I'll do two things. I'll slow it down at first. Okay, I usually do between 2 and 3, but also I'll do this. I'll get that material on there just like this. And Minnie, you're going to love this because this is going to be quite noticeable when I'm done with this. Always double checking your blue tape. Okay, and guess what? Rotex mode, and here we go. And you know, you're still going to get a little material whip, but I'll just get that in there like this, and you're going to see how that's going to start to pop. Just like this, and I'm concentrating right out front here. Now, I'm not going to use the normal blue shop rags. I'm going to use this, because I don't want to scratch it with that shop rag. And I'm going to clean it off now. And we're going to look at it. Now this sometimes, oh boy, look at that. Mm-hmm. That's huge, isn't it? Look at that.
You know there's a little gravel dust in there too.
Oh yeah, but look how nice that is.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I'm going to do, Min? Just
What's
for
that?
you?
What?
I am going to step it up a notch.
Ooh.
And I know we have that mist, but I'm going to look at it. You know what, Min? I'm going to take it up a notch. I'm going to go one more for you.
Sweet.
Okay, I am going to go so I can show people that sponge. And I'm going to go to the 9,000. I'm going to get that on here. It's fun. I'm actually warming up pretty good. Mm-hmm. And the other thing, hopefully you know this, and I mentioned it, but this is like the 3rd or 4th time I've used this sponge. I take it, I run it under water, I wring it out, I put it on a pad, and it stays nice. So I'll take it one more. I shook these up this morning, okay? And I'll get some of that material on there. Oh yeah. Is everybody telling Minnie where you're from? Okay, and right in here is where I want to get it. Man. You're always analyzing your lens to make sure you're covering everything. And once again, this is 9,000 sandpaper on here. So it's really polishing and sanding it to a high polish. So I'm going to put this over here. Woo! And I'm going to grab another rag. Big D, how's that coming through? Good? Look at that, everybody. Minnie, check that out.
I'm coming.
Look at that, man. Crystal clear.
That's amazing.
Isn't that amazing? So I'll tell you
Zero
what,
safer tonight.
where we stopped with that speed cut for Chris's,